down 18%
in the ratings
from last year. Last year was in the bubble. Now, last year you had LeBron and the Lakers in the finals.
Right.
But, like, that's a big statement. We're all the way back. We're here. We have,
Fans.
crowds. Fans are full stadium, full
People
arenas.
are counting during Giannis's free throw attempts.
It's very exciting.
It's very distracting.
First of all, I'm glad that he's back, even though he's telling everyone he's not hurt. And announcers and those people are saying, I don't
the
believe
entire
you.
press is like, no, we don't believe you. Literally, someone said, I don't believe what you're saying. Giannis handled that so well after the game.
He's chill.
He was so chill. He's like, what do you want me to say? It's not about my knee. I don't want this to be about my knee. And I looked at his stat line last night, 20 points, 17 rebounds. And he did have a little, he did bully some guys in the lane and made some moves, but he looked a little tentative. It looked like he was trying to figure out what he could do on the knee.
Right.
I mean, it's miraculous. He's like, I thought he was going to be out for a year after that injury. That's what he thought. Now, when he walked off the court, I thought, okay, there's hope that this guy can get back.
As he was walking to the locker room under his own power, I said, okay, there's a outside chance, and if there's any chance, they're going to try to get him
But
back.
he's not dominant Giannis. He's not the Greek freak.
Right.
He's just a Greek, like a Greek dude,
Like
right
a Greek
now.
salad.
He's like a Greek salad
like
right
a good
now.
Greek salad.
Good, tasty, gets you what you need, but is it literally knock it out of the park? This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. MVP material. No, he's not there. So I looked at this and I'm like, okay, 20 points, 17 rebounds. That's amazing. And I watched him. He had that great, flying in from behind, hitting the ball to the backboard, a la LeBron in Game 6.
Yep.
He had a great. He is playing. He's not just keeping everything on the ground. Is what I'm saying.
He's playing above the rim.
Exactly.
He's making some Giannis-like moves.
But then I looked over at DeAndre Ayton, 22 points, 19 rebounds. I'm like,
and that's the Suns' third guy.
That's their third guy.
That's their third guy.
So Chris Paul with 32 points, Devin Booker, I believe, 27 points. And you just say to yourself, they've got three. Three is better than two. I'm looking at Milwaukee, and this is the thing for me for Phoenix. Phoenix can beat you offensively in so many ways. It's not just like, this is the reason why Houston never made it to the NBA Finals with James Harden. He had one way to beat you. ISO him at the top, and he's either going to...
It's two ways, really. He's going to step back and shoot a three, or he's going to penetrate.
Right. It's just two possible options. But I was watching Phoenix last night. I'm like, okay, so Chris Paul can pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton. He can also snake to his spot at the elbow or down the lower blocks and shoot like a rainbow over Brook Lopez. And he can hit. He's got the mid-range game to either burn you on the mid-range shot or dish it off to Ayton. And Ayton is finishing around the rim beautifully right now, okay? He was like 8 for 10 last night. Then, if that's not working or you don't want to use that, you just throw the ball to Devin Booker and let him ISO himself. He had an unbelievable offensive set where he's against Portis, and Portis is playing great one-on-one defense on the guy. There is no way that Booker tries to get in the lane and tries to get to his spot twice. Couldn't do it. Comes back up by the three-point line, and then he goes over to the left elbow, and he hits, or like right at the free throw line, and he hits a mid-range shot. And so you're like, well, that's another way they can score. Then there was that great Cam Johnson.
So Cam Johnson comes, flashes to the free throw line, gets the ball from the wing, and then does a high-low game with Ayton down low, dumps it down low, and it's unstoppable. So because you got to respect Cam Johnson's
high-low,
shot.
pick and roll, ISO with Devin Booker. There are too many ways.
If Trey Crowder's hitting his shots, if Cam Johnson is hitting his shots, if Payton is hitting his shots, they're just a
Trey
lot.
Crowder did not hit his shots.
He did not. He did not. But if he is, that's
right,
another
way.
weapon. But so
there's so many ways. And then you look at Milwaukee, and it's like Chris Middleton doing everything he possibly can to
Chris Middleton was like Sheryl Crow when she was singing the national anthem at the All-Star.
She's playing a harmonica. She's playing guitar. She had to set up her own microphone. I saw her like selling concessions after the thing. I'm like, leave the woman alone.
Someone give Chris Middleton some help.
I'm like, listen, Cheryl, if it makes you happy, fine. Do all of that stuff. But leave the woman alone. Middleton had to do so much. You were just like, it was to me, it's the same way I'm looking at Federer and Djokovic. I'm like, Djokovic, I expect to win. Federer, you're like, he better throw everything. He better do everything he can, and everything has to go perfect in order to just give him a chance right now.
But I'm going to say this to Milwaukee fans who are listening right now. don't give up hope.
Right.
All those things are going against you.
That being said, you were down 6 or 7 in the fourth quarter. You took a 20-point lead in their building. You're down 20. You cut it to 7, and you needed a couple role players to hit some shots, and they just couldn't do it.
Tucker, where are you? What are you doing?
PJ Tucker, I was like, did he get traded to Houston between the first and second quarter? I don't even see this guy out there. Like, he can't. Drew Holiday.
Didn't we hear that Drew Holiday was going to be a lockdown defender?
He's a dog. Everyone's like, he's the toughest one-on-one defender. What is he doing?
Going under every screen.
Right. So you can go under the screen if Chris Paul is 30 feet out. He's not going to shoot that. He's not Trae Young. He's not shooting from the second he walks.
Unless he's playing the Clippers, and then he's hitting those shots.
Fine. But I'm just saying, he doesn't want to take that shot, and you'll give him that shot. You want to shoot it from 35 feet, Chris Paul, I trust that if you can make that shot all the time, you can have that shot.
You got to fight through the pick.
I'll go under the screen. He's got to go
fight over
He's got to
the pick.
over everything. He's got to go over every screen and play it like it's okay. So even with the horrible defense they played, even with Giannis not being full Giannis, just being a salad and not the Greek salad.
He's 2/3 Giannis, so he gives you 20 points instead of 30. That's where he's at right now. Whether he admits it or not, that's where he's at.
And so you needed Drew Holiday to score 20 points. He scored 10. If he scores 20 points, if PJ Tucker scores 10 points, they lost 118 to 105. There's your 13 points that you make up. And by the way, we're not asking for the world from Drew Holiday. So again, you're looking and you're like, okay, Phoenix had 3 guys, 2 guys up around 30, and DeAndre Ayton gave you 22 and 19 rebounds.
You got to have your big 3 have to show, especially if you're Milwaukee. You have to have everyone show up who's supposed to show up.
Now, if you're Milwaukee and you're sort of looking at it, you're like, well, we weren't expecting to win 2 here. Let's win the next game. Let's win 1. Let's win 1.
See what the
Even if you lose both games, but it's close enough, I think there's enough gristle on the bone. There's enough meat on the bone for Milwaukee to say, okay, we've got something to build on for the next. We have something here.
Yeah, they definitely weren't blown out of the building.
Do you believe Giannis when he says, I'm fine, my knee is fine?
I don't.
You don't?
Absolutely
So
not.
you're like the entire press who had that.
Yeah, but I think what he could have said is, I'm good enough to play.
Yeah.
And that's all. Then
what if he said this? What if Giannis said, and again, he's not even speaking his own native language, but if he were to say to the press, if I didn't feel like I could go, I wouldn't go. And I'm not going to put a worse product for myself. If I didn't feel like I could help the team, help the team win, I wouldn't play.
Right.
That's it. And then you leave that up to your interpretation. Then they can write whatever they want.
Right. Is he at 100%? No. Does he think he can contribute? Yeah. And he's right. That's 20-17. 20 points, 17 rebounds is contributing. That's if you can get that out of him, and you can get 20 out of Drew Holiday, and you can get 29 out of Chris Middleton, 26, 27.
You're not asking for much. By the way, Middleton showed me a lot yesterday.
Yeah.
Like he was knocking down shots.
But when you look at Drew Holiday Olympic team and not Chris Paul.
Yeah. That's the one where you're like, wait.
This is the last Olympics Chris Paul could be on. CP3.
Yeah. I think Drew Holiday is great. I mean, I do think he is a great player, and I do think he is the reason why Milwaukee was great throughout the year. But he was nowhere to be found in this
That's the thing about
opening
Chris Paul.
game.
That's the thing about Chris Paul in this series. You got the guy with the most experience is the guy who has the ball the most.
Right.
So that's the guy on your team who knows, who's been, okay, maybe he hasn't been to the finals, but he's been playing in this league for so long. He's the guy who sees the court better than anyone. He's the guy who starts all the plays. They're not running their offense necessarily through him, but they are.
You don't think
him.
he's going to make a mistake.
That's right.
He might miss his shot, but he's going to get to his spot and shoot his shot. He's going to get to his spot, draw the defense in, and make the right pass. He always makes the right decision. It's like Tom Brady. You look at him and you're like, he rarely makes the wrong decision.
Except maybe to play in the match.
Which I don't know if you saw the match.
I did see the match.
I saw the match. I'll say, and we'll get into the match later with Lucidic. But I mean, seeing Bryson DeChambeau in shorts was jarring.
Shocking.
First of all, I was like, are you wearing golf shoes or are those just topsiders? I can't tell what you're wearing. That guy should always be in pants. Fine, if you're at the gym, you can wear, and I imagine he wears shorts that are so long, like Fab Five circus shorts that are like down, that you're like, are those clam diggers? What are those?
Borderline clam
Borderline.
Every short he owns is a cargo short, and it's below the knee.
So just him wearing short, he looked like a big child. And not in a fun way. We were talking about this for the show. He's not like a child in a fun way.
Right.
He's like a child in a way where you're like, no, don't go over. He's going to knock over the crystal. You know, he's going to knock over he's
like
walking
near
He
doesn't know how strong he is.
He doesn't know. Right. He's going to throw something and it's going to knock everything over.
He's got like Bryson DeChambeau looks like the child who's going to pet the dog too hard.
Yeah. You're like, he doesn't like it.
He doesn't like it.